Hey, how's it going?
Oh man, sorry for all the trouble today, man.
Oh, not a
Can you
problem.
hear me?
Yes, I can. I thank you very much for taking time to do this interview.
No worries, brother. We appreciate all your help to get the word out, man. It means a lot.
Oh, absolutely. It's great to be able to talk to you and be able to talk about the brand new album out today. What great time to be able to talk about it. I guess the first thing that goes into that is how does it feel to have the album coming out today after 20 years?
It's crazy. I'm here in Florida in Tampa Bay, so we just like I was born in a crossfire hurricane. Just like that Rolling Stones song, man. And the album's coming out on the Crossfire Hurricane Day, and we lost Curtis Beeson, our original drummer of Nasty Savage, and then we just found out the band room, the jam room for Nasty Savage that Pete Sykes, our guitarist, owns, had 4 feet of water in it, man, and destroyed all the gear that they had, the drums,
Oh
bass
no.
amps, guitar amps. It was 4 foot high. And man, we set up a GoFundMe, so I'll make sure you get the information to get that out there. But man, it's a trying time for everybody. This storm at my home is 3 days now without power, so we're just dealing with it, man. But Jeopardy room, man, it's like 20 years later. It's an exciting thing, man. It's really exciting. We just came back from Keep It True in Germany, a big festival, and they celebrated 40 years of Nasty Savage. And actually, the albums were all available there for the record company. FHM had a big booth there, and we were selling records like hotcakes and autographing. So we got to meet and greet the fans after 40 years. There's so many that have so many great memories, and to put out a new album after 20 years is just it's a bucket list thing that I really wanted to do.
And at least on that back half, I'm so happy to see that things have been going great with that. I mean, obviously, again with the album coming out, being able to play "Keep It True," which is such a great festival. But yeah, absolutely. In the description of this interview, and then being able to talk about it again, that GoFundMe, that is a worthy cause, and I'm more than happy to be able to share that.
Yeah, man. Pete is just a blue collar guy, and he's a hardworking guy, and he's a guitarist, and he just lives to buy new gear and to keep his craft going, and all his time and effort. He pays for the room, and we practice there, and it's a gut punch to know someone like that just so dedicated has lost everything that he ever put into. And I know the people out there will come together and help rebuild for us, and that's what metal people do. And we just reach out to everybody. And Pete wrote 4 songs on this new album too: Schizoid Platform, Jeopardy Room, Operation Annihilate, and Saint to Devil. I mean, and he also had a big hand in writing The Six Finger, which is an instrumental. So yeah, I know that people will come together. It's just a hard time. And Jim, our drummer, he lost his drums, man. Like, damn. The economy sucks for everybody right now. It's just hard. And we just got hit with a hurricane, lost Curtis Beeson. It's just emotions, man. We're like in jeopardy every day. And it just reminds me of the concept of the whole Jeopardy room.
Yeah, it is just so unfortunate everything that is happening right now, like everything in your area, everything that's happening around the world, so many things that people can relate to, whether it's the exact same situation, whether it's something that they can relate to and feel those emotions on. But it makes it more thankful that an album like this is out today because for the amount of time that you listen to the album from start to finish, even though lyrically it hits so close to home, on so many songs, and other songs just put a great smile on your face. It's just a nice escape to be able to hear some new Nasty Savage in 2024.
I mean, yeah, and when David Austin quit the band after our Mexico play, we played Mexico City about 2 years ago. He came back and just said, "Man, I'm just done. I've done it all, as much as I want to do. I'm burnt out. And I'm like, all right, Dave, and we're still the best of friends." But I said, but it's not the end of Nasty Savage. I said, I have another chapter that I'm going to push on to. I already had Pete and Jim, and we've all been jamming for about 5 years doing these festivals and different shows. And then we had Scott Carino on bass. And Richard was with us at first, and he passed away, but he quit as well, got away, and then he had a tragedy in his life and lost his life. And then we picked up Scott Carino, and we continued to play and do different shows. And we talked about doing some demos and shopping them around. We never completed. Um, David left, and I said, dude, I got a bucket list. It's going to be, we're doing another album. So I had Pete and Jim. Scott left. We got Kyle Sokol who joined, and we already had Dave Orman to replace David Austin. And I did a deal with FHM Records, and I just said, dude, guys, we're doing an album, man. We're going to do an album, man. We're going to do it. Some people said we never would do it. So I'm like, 20 years I've been holding up, holding back, and I knew I still had it in me to write, but I had to tell the guys, look, don't worry about the past, man. I know you guys have been kind of fans, but they're more into death metal and shredding stuff, and but they knew they still wanted to keep it true as much as they could, fill in those shoes of Nasty Savage to keep it twisted and kind of our style. But I said, don't worry about that, man. It's like um the $6 million man, make it bigger, faster, stronger. I want more. I want a lot more. Give me heavier. Fuck, man, do whatever. It's 2024, and we're not looking back. We're looking forward. So I just try to inspire them. But these guys wrote this killer music, and I would just say, look, I've got a title, and then I'd give them the title. Where in the past I'd get music and then write a title to what music I thought felt that title. This time I changed up. I said, look, I've got a title, and this title is called Schizoid Platform, Pete. And I want you to make a shredding, platform of schizophrenia or whatever, man. Give me that vibe of just crazy psycho shit to carry on the tradition of what I like to write about is human nature and just stuff like that. So I got to write this thing. He goes, yeah, I got this. It's got a slow intro thing on it. It's like, so I came up, he goes, it's kind of a creepy part where you could sing or talk slow and do something. So I came up with red cloak clowns, looking down, humanoid, avoid the void, corrosive minds, divide the night, hell avato, mondo bizarro, schizo. So it's like, I always wanted to say those words, Mondo Bizarro, in a song after I started researching. And this whole album is kind of Mondo Bizarro-ish, man. It's like the guys just kicked ass, and I just try to do my part by pushing it along. So what would happen is I give a title, then I'd get the music, and we were doing it through Messenger. I never practiced with the band one time before we went in the studio and did my parts. Dave lives in Alabama, so he'd send me a song where I'd say, Dave, I got this title called Aztec Elegance. I always wanted to write about the Mayans and the Aztecs and, the worship in the sun gods and the sacrifice to the sun gods, and they'd rip people's hearts out and shit. I watched the movie Apocalypto and really, really was enthralled with it. I got Dave to do that. I said, I want some eerie intro. He gives me this song. He sends me. I go, oh my, like, perfect. And I go, but I need you to tell me when to come in, stop, sing, chorus. And then I have that blueprint and a canvas. Then I'll go back to all the words and research ability shit that I had in this maybe 4 or 5 pages of nothing but information about Aztecs, Mayans, sun gods, apocalypto, and all these rhymes that go with it and phrases. And it's more of a real storytelling like Asmodeus was on the first album. So I just start like a blank canvas and start painting the picture, like Picasso or somebody creating. And we came up with that. That song was born, and each song we did it like that. And it's really cool. When I said I have this title named Southern Fried Homicide, it's like I always love that title, and Dave Orman wrote that, but to hear that chunk guitar rhythm, it's just so killer, man. And then the drums go boom, boom right before I come in. And it's just such a good drum sound, such a good production. Really proud of this stuff and totally excited.
And it makes me excited to hear the excitement in you because that's the feeling I get when I listen to the album. It does remind me a lot of that signature Nasty Savage sound, but like you've mentioned, it is bigger, stronger, faster. Like it feels like the band in 2024, and it feels like this new entity. While it pays tribute to the past, it is looking forward to the future, and it's such an incredible thing to see that because again, like when you think of like all these different themes that are throughout the entire album, you hear the different riffs that are going on, the great diversity in sound that's going on. It's just it makes for such a great album experience.
I really appreciate that you took the time to actually feel that because the rhythm will set you free. Schizoid, humanoid, schizoid, humanoid, brain. Oh, shit, I can't remember the words now. But yeah, the rhythm will set you free. Schizoid, humanoid, graveside, crucified, Plato's stepchild in the eyes of the sculpture. She freak double feature. Sparrows bark the sun into being. Leaf laden trees screen out the moon. What the hell is that shit, man? That's some energy of the new Nasty Savage Jeopardy Room album. And, it's exciting, man, because I'm a word man. I'm not a bird man. And I've always store up words for decades and I find cool shit. I was in an antique mall. I'm walking by and I see these movie posters from the 30s. And one of them was a Rudy Valentino movie. And it was called Sainted Devil. And I go, oh shit, that's a killer title. So there was Sainted Devil. Brainwasher is another killer song that Dave Orman wrote. And I just saw I got a name of Brainwasher. And where did I get Brainwasher? From a Spider-Man comic. It was one of his foes, Brainwasher. And I go, oh, I love that because Brainwasher, we can be brainwashed by media, brainwashed by everything, our teachers, whatever. We could brainwash ourselves by just looking in the mirror wrong. But and then I had this collectible action figure named Venom, who was part of Spider-Man back in the day, and he was one that took him off the market because you push the button and he would say, "I want to eat your brain. I want to eat your brain." So I said, "I'm going to say that in the chorus part, and it's like. It's brainwasher, brainwasher, brainwasher. And then the next one is, I want to eat your brain. I want to eat your brain with this album, man. I think it can your brain too and eat your brain. And I hope it doesn't brainwash, but it might. You just never know, man. Dig deep.
Oh yeah, I couldn't agree more. And I've always appreciated that about the band throughout the years. Like no matter who's writing the lyrics, whoever comes up with the concepts, like there's always something deeper through it. Like you can listen to or read the lyrics, listen to the lyrics and get like one idea of it, but there's always something a little bit more to it as well too. Like you mentioned with Brainwasher, like you can talk about like what's going on in the world today, but it's also from comics. It's Spider-Man, it is Brainwasher. You incorporate Venom into there too, and it's so cool to see stuff like that.
I mean, I tried to be free, but the humans have got me. I found them blind and taught them to see, seeking deliverance from all the indifference, seeking deliverance, tired of ignorance, easy coming, easy go, a blot upon the holy sky. But do you know the reason why? I leave it up to you to figure it out. I just write for myself, and I like when people try to read between the lines and get what they get out of it. I'm not singing the red door is red, the green door is green. It's really just it's passages of thought process of humanities, inhumanities. It's sort of like if you look on Facebook, you see life, you see birth, but then you see death and you see joy and you see hate and you get emotions like a roller coaster ride up and down and up. And that's what I like to do is get people to think, man. If you're listening to Southern Fried Homicide, one of the favorite lines or a powerful line to me is joy and sorrow today and tomorrow. What greater crime than the loss of time? I mean, that sums up the whole universe for me is joy and sorrow today and tomorrow. But what greater crime is if you just don't take the time to get something done. If you don't take the time to smell the roses and tell them you love them and call somebody you're not talking to, or just make the most. Produce for your boss, for your kids, for your wife, for your relationships. It doesn't matter, man. It's like joy and sorrow. It sucks, man.
It's so true, but that's all the more reason to appreciate the joy and anticipate the sorrow because we experience both of those in life. So, it's just it's the counterbalance of the universe, and when you're able to take control of both of those, it's a easier way to go about life.
Yeah, I've always written like that, back in Penetration Point and, the song Penetration Point, one of the last verses in it is like, or really, I live the night to wake up this morning. I lived through the night again. Luckily, I lived the night to wake up this morning. Weapons of thought from the clouds of unknowing, naked target on the beam of life. Your personality comes with the sunlight. You've met people that when they're with this guy, they put that mask on. When with that person, they put the other mask on, and then they might talk shit behind your back. Your personality comes with the sunlight, or is your personality the same always? In the same song at the end, it says something about in the airplane, I'm looking down on the ground, and maybe it's wishful thinking in this tree-lined little world. And it's just like you're looking down and everything's like tree lines. It's like in this tree-lined little world, or maybe indulgence when I'm saying the end of the song, singing songs to please myself. All at once, things seem so small. Your grief and mine must intertwine. Indulgence. It's shit like that I had to carry on to the Jeopardy room. And when we're stuck in the Jeopardy room, we've all heard that song, "Our love's in jeopardy, baby. Our love's in jeopardy." But Jeopardy is like there's also a game show Jeopardy. I was just into it. I'm watching The Twilight Zone one day, and which I love Rod Serling and Alfred Hitchcock, stuff like that. And then there's an episode called The Jeopardy Room. And I was like, oh man, I love this title. And that's where I got that title, is from a Twilight Zone episode. I just changed it to my own opinion on what I wanted to write about. But man, you're in the Jeopardy room and we're kind of stuck in it, man. It's like we're in jeopardy every day, just driving to work on time, punching the clock, not being late. Then you got stoplights, people cutting you off, and traffic not letting you over. You got your blinker on, but then you gotta buy shoes for your kids. You gotta go into the grocery store, man, and buy groceries. And you got to stand in line and wait. And it's just paying the bills and everything that we have to do to survive. I would say we are in jeopardy. So open the door. Oh, it's Operation Annihilate. Close the door, get in that other door, and it's the six finger. And man, I need to get out of this room. And I go to another door, and it's the schizoid platform down the spiral staircase. So it's like, damn, man, I'm just gonna hang here and turn this shit up real loud and listen to it. And I'll get out when I want to get out. Because right now, I want to stay inside this room, even if it is called Jeopardy.
No, it just makes all the sense in the world. And, thinking about that as well, too, I mean, obviously, with everything that is going on with the new album, and uh, like I said, just coming back from Keep It True, it had to have been a great feeling to incorporate these new songs into the live set.
It's hard because like when you go see Jethro Tull back in the 70s or 80s, and everybody'd be yelling, play Aqualung, play this, play Thick as a Brick, and he would get pissed off because he wants to play all this new shit. And it's not really like that with us. It's just complicated to play that shit after just a whirlwind of producing it and writing it and then recording it. And then people still want to hear, we only have an hour or so to play, and you can't leave out the classics that got us there. So we played Six Finger instrumental. Of course, we played Witch's Sabbath, and we've always played that, but that's on the album. And then we played Jeopardy Room. So we don't have a lot of time to practice either because Dave Orman lives in Alabama. But we try to balance it all out. And it's just great to play, to celebrate like we did 40 years of Nasty Savage. and be able to play and time it all with the timing of this record to be available for this event. That's how the whole thing was based around. Yeah, because it's been out a while already in Germany. It was released for Keep It True, and a lot of the press and media have all heard it, and we've had nothing but great response actually. And I mean, the reviews we've been getting are 85, 90s. Everything, nothing under an 8 out of 10. So I guess if you really care about numbers, we're doing pretty good. But what mattered to me is what the old school real Nasty Savage has said. The people who like I would send them tapes I'd send them songs while we were in the studio just so they can sample it and hear something, so I could get some feedback from them, because that's what meant a lot to me, is to the OGs, people I've known for 40 years in San Antonio or Houston, Texas, guys that collect records and metal and go to all the shows, and they're big Nasty Savage fans. So, for me, it really, I wanted to know what they were going to say about it. And luckily, they were all totally into it, man, and gave me some great feedback.
Oh, yeah, that is so great to hear. And I personally love this album. I love it from start to finish. I love all the dynamics that's going through here, the lyrical concepts. It feels like such a great thing in 2024 to have this album. And yeah, just like through all the trials and tribulations that the band has gone through personally, throughout the world, everything like that. The fact that the band is still going strong, writing some of the best material the band has done to date. It's just got me so excited for the future, for the end of 2024 into 2025 and beyond, and just seeing what the band is going to be up to next.
Well, I mean, I was on an island by myself, as the original member. And I was thinking, oh, are people just going to say it's not Nasty Savage without this guy or without that guy? So I knew I had a tall task to deliver, but I was pretty sure we'd be able to pull it off. And we got Dave Orman, like I said, and Kyle stepped in, and we started writing the songs. And we just really, we had to deliver for ourselves, and that's the best thing we could have accomplished, to do that. And it's like, wow, it's a new chapter. It's 2024, and there's no going back. So I had to come up with a couple of concepts, and one of them was the album artwork. I was like, what are we going to do? AI, flames and skulls and what everybody else is doing. No, I got to go back to Vandekar, the dude who painted our albums back in the day, but he's been dead for 35 years. It's like, damn. So I Googled and searched and got some feedback and a phone number. I called him, and it was Vandekar's grandson. He's like, yeah, man, I know who you are. We got I live here at the house. I go, you still live where the iron gates are and the gargoyle on that domed roof and all those statues? And he goes, yeah, come on. So I went there with Dave Orman, and I found a canvas. I said, this is what I need. So right away, when people saw this artwork, associated quickly with Nasty Savage. Oh yeah, I've got that one. Or, man, it's back. I didn't have to bullshit anybody, that right away, boom. The next thing we had to do is go back to Morris Sound Recording Studio, where it all began. And I knew Jim Morris would give us a great conceptual production like no other. And so that was he is the sixth finger, man. He's not only an engineer, but he is a producer at the same time. And when you're working with him, he's going to get you through anything and make sure it comes out quality, because that's what he does. We did this whole album in 8 sessions, including mix and mastering. And man, Jim Morris was such a big part of it, giving us that great production. And if we would have went anywhere else with any other producer or director, whatever, we would not have gotten what we got. And you can't lie about production. If something sounds like shit, they're gonna go, well, that production is rough, and it really affected everything. So if you start out with a good production, you're pretty with a good production, and everything else falls into place. So So that was an aspect. Back at Morrisound, artwork. I wanted to bring Fred Dregeshin in, the original bass player, um, who was like the mastermind of the first album with his progressive songwriting, sort of Iron Maidenish, sort of like Merciful Fate, you know. I said, Fred, I want you a part of this. I want you to write Jeopardy Room. And he was living in Turkey and just couldn't get it to us in time. So he finally sent this song. It was too late because Pete already wrote Jeopardy Room and we were really close to deadlining. But I said, well, let's just take a part of this. And we took a part out of the song Fred wrote and turned it into Invocations, which is the subtle intro to the album before you get punched in the face by a Jeopardy room. And then one other thing I wanted to do is from the past to the present is bring in, when I was negotiating with the record guy, Frank, I said, look, I'm going to redo the song Witch's Sabbath from the original demo tape that's never been re-recorded. And I'm going to get the guys from Obituary to be a part of this. And we're going to bring the past to the future to the past. And he goes, oh, Ron, that would be great. And we ended up doing the deal. And he never heard a note of the song either. He just believed in us enough. So I owe a lot to Frank. But when I reached out to Obituary after the fact, they said, hell yeah, let's do it. Donald said, I'll play the drums, man. And I go, cool. And I got John to sing. And they presented it to us within our timeline between the tours and busy schedules that they did. So when I was a kid, just starting Nasty Savage at my mom's house, well, she goes, there's two boys at the door. They want to talk to you. And I go, okay. I go to the door and there's two kids sitting there on bicycles and they go, are you Nasty Ronnie? I said, yeah. They go, well, we're Donald and John Tardy, and we want to know how to start a band. I mean, they came to the source of someone who is lighting it on fire in Tampa Bay and Brandon about heavy metal when we were blazing our own trail back then. They were smart enough to come to the source. I said, you guys are freaking brilliant, man. I said, get in my Chevelle. I had a 70 Chevelle hot rod. We're going to go to Lithia Springs, man, and we're going to throw the Frisbee for about 5 hours. I'm going to tell you everything you need to know. And then, 15 years later, they do the video and paid homage to us out of pure respect. And they put us in 10,000 Ways to Die in that animated video. And it features Nasty Savage, and it's got over 7 million views. Then they put out a book. It's got a whole chapter on the inspiration. So I knew I needed to bring that back because they also have a gigantic following and they're very successful. So why not have another marketing angle so people could really understand that we're really coming back and we have a viable product. And if we have Obituary in there, that's just another, notch on the gun belt to say, hell yeah, man, I want to check this out. And then me being smart enough just to keep it simple with my lyrics and my vocals rather, and keep that mid-range attack where it's not a bunch of falsettos and this and that. I did my vocals in a day and a half, so it's like, well, everything was to the point, and we took care of business, but I wasn't going to do a bunch of falsettos. I wanted to keep it, if you would, accessible to newer heavy metal fans that might not even know who the hell we are.
Yeah, and I think that was such a good approach too. And then if someone is discovering the band for the first time, they're able to go back and then they can hear those falsettos on those classic songs and stuff like that. And hopefully they'll be into it. But if nothing else, I mean, hopefully they enjoy what they're hearing off of the new album because that's what got them in the first place. I think that's a smart way to go about it.
Yeah, man. Sometimes those falsettos and screams could make people run away from it and say, oh, I don't like that. But I didn't do it just for that. I did it because it's a time in my life. It's an accomplishment that I always wanted to do. I don't have to do high screams to be satisfied. I could still hit those notes, probably, but it takes overdubs and more studio sessions to really accomplish that shit. And I didn't really want to do it. I really wanted to do something powerful in your face where you could register what I'm saying. And therefore, the songwriting's a little different, where I could really highlight my words. And they're very understandable, 90%. You could really understand what I'm trying to say. because that's what I want you to hear those words. They're from my heart, man. It's life journey. It's the like each one's a short story with its own identity, man. I'm thinking this album, you could take Jeopardy Room and take it onto a Broadway play, and I could work within some guy that does Broadway plays, and the set is this room, like a big Jeopardy room with doors. And when they open the door, there's another scene that happens. And they might use ballerinas and ballets and nutcracker like style shit. But they're telling a story of each song of joy and sorrow and all that kind of shit that's in these, and death and say, or the sainted devil. It's just could be these characters, and that's some of my vision where I'd like to take this to something that's never been done before, and then metal people could go to a performing arts center and watch someone act out these songs. We don't necessarily be playing them. The soundtrack is that, and these people, I would give someone the ball that does that. Like if you're a painter, you want to paint my house, paint it. I'm not going to do the painting. If you're a songwriter, that, whatever. If you're a truck driver, but if you're a performing art director who writes and writer and creative shit, I would love to consult with someone like that and be creative and create, because hell, there's all kinds of performing arts. Think about it, every genre. Why not heavy metal and have the economic impact of heavy metal into performing arts and win some kind of Academy Award shit or something? Wouldn't that be cool?
That would be really cool if that does come to fruition. I think a lot of people would be into that.
It's just something artistic. And that's what music does, man. It takes you to places you've never been or want to go, or just gives you those moments of solitude. And there's nothing more than that. It's how, it's not a big thing, but it's what everybody feels. It to me, it was the feelings of being in jeopardy, and each song has its own identity. And it'll take you place. The rhythm will set you free, man. The rhythm will set you free if you just let it. Have an open mind. Open your mind from the inside. The clock will keep on ticking, just like in No Sympathy. Those lyrics there.
Oh, couldn't agree more. Sadly, I see that my Zoom is just about to run out on me, but I want to thank you so much for taking the time to be able to talk to me about everything that's going on in the world of Nasty Savage right now. And of course, Jeopardy Room out right now here in America and around the world. Of course, out for a little bit more time in Germany. But I just want to thank you so much, especially with everything that you're personally going through right now, taking the time to be able to talk to me and going in depth into the lyrics, the lyrical concepts, what you want for the future, where the band is right now. So much to look forward to. And I can't wait to be able to spread the word with this interview. And I just thank you so much for taking the time.
Well, brother, you did a great job, and I want to thank you for everything you do to support not only Nasty Savage, but heavy metal. And there's a lot of good people doing a lot of good things in metal, and the fans are. One thing, when I was a kid, when I was young and wasn't in a band, I used to go to the hotels and try to meet the bands. And when they got on their tour bus and shit, we'd have our records there, and they would stop and give us the time. Talking about Kiss, Ozzy, Priest, Maiden, bands like that, and they would stop and talk to us. And I always said, those dudes are cool, man. That's why I love them, and that's why I buy their stuff. And even guys that would blow us off and go in, I would lose respect, but I still like their music. But man, I vowed to myself, if I'm ever in a band, I will try to make people's day. And that's all we can do in life, people, is give value to others, to make, when we leave that room, to make them respect us. Give value every day. The world will be a better place. But getting back to one serious note is, we lost in the jam room. Pete's whole equipment, the drums, the bass stuff, his Marshall cabinets. There's a link at Nasty Savage band Instagram, or go to Nasty Savage Metal Nights. Join the group, man, and I urge you to join the group as well and post this there. And once you join, you could post anything related, Nasty Savage questions, interviews, whatever. But we need some money, man, to help Pete. He's a blue collar guy, and he has the jam room, and water was 4 feet high. So if anybody can give anything to help Pete and the Nasty Savage jam room survive, water is 4 foot high. There's pictures of him pushing his stuff on a kayak as Marshall heads through the water waist deep. So it's very serious, and we lost Curtis Beeson this week too, the original drummer for Nasty Savage. And he was just a legendary guy all around and a great loss. And I'm so sorry. Rest in peace, Curtis. We love you, man. And we love all you guys out there. And we thank you for the support. And check out Jeopardy Room. We just released the song, a lyric video, Which is Sabbath, with Obituary on it, man. You got to hear this shit. It's unbelievable. And so really, man, get inside the Jeopardy Room, turn it up loud, and reach out to us. Let us know what you think. Join the Nasty Savage Metal Nights group. You'll see the link for the GoFundMe. Everybody, please share it, push it, help us survive through these hard times here in Florida. Thank you so much.